The Frivolous Dreams podcast with Kyle Rogers. Let's think big. Let's think stupid. Yeah, let's be frivolous. Get up, breathe it out, breathe it out, breathe it out, breathe it out. This is the Frivolous Dreams podcast with Kyle Rogers.
Welcome to Frivolous Dreams, Frankie.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for being a guest. It's hard to get enough guests when you've got a town of, 500 or so.
I imagine, man, but you have a world full of internet subscribers.
Yeah, well, hopefully future subscribers, but it's cool.
No, I mean, they subscribe to the internet. Therefore,
yeah,
you should be able to reach tons of people.
So, let's see. You want to just start bullshitting about winning the lottery?
Yeah, if that's the game we play, man, then let's play that game.
It tends to lead to conversations, so.
Yeah. Like, my reality is a little bit different, I think, than other people's in general, right? Which has always been interesting living in here. It feels like I'm somewhat of an outsider. I'm sure you feel the same way. And when you said, what was it, after you do all the responsible stuff?
Yeah.
Is that one of the words you used?
Yeah, if
I laughed at that because I'm like, responsible stuff. What is he talking about? Who is he? Is dead? Get out of here, man.
Well, no, a lot of people I talk to, they say, "Oh, well, I'd pay off my house," and it's like, yeah, of course, that's given. That's not interesting. That's not what we want to discuss. Well, I'd buy stocks.
I don't even know.
I get that.
I don't even know if that's a good idea to pay your house off, man. So how are we getting dispersed the money? How are we getting distributed them?
All right,
what's going on?
Let's do it this way. Let's call it $10,000 a day every day for the rest of your life.
So, I mean, why do I need to pay off my house? I got $10,000 a day for the rest of my life. What the fuck do I care?
Right. But 20. Right? I've come up with a new way of phrasing the question, which is,
yeah.
If you have so much money that you take care of everything and everyone that you've ever wanted to, and then you still have way too much money, what do you do in 20 years to sow chaos?
Straight away. I mean, I'd probably put people like in my family on a payment plan, give them a little something, I suppose, not be a total dick. Maybe I wouldn't, because then, it just kind of opens up it's a slippery slope, I think, to do that. So maybe I'll be like, fuck them. I don't give anybody anything now. I got money I could give people. So what I'd probably do is figure out, like, where in the world can I buy other houses? I'm not paying mine off. I'm buying other houses. Then I'm going to go to them all, and there's going to be like a Ferrari parked in the driveway of each one.
Why Ferrari?
Have coffee and go on hikes and shit. Well, it doesn't have to be a Ferrari. I'll probably have an R8 in one. Like, right now I'm looking at between an R8 and a Porsche. I'm thinking about getting a Porsche 911 or an R8 Audi, right?
Okay.
So, I like a cheap Ferrari now because that shit costs so much money besides the cost of the car, right? And the reason why I would do that, I would buy a Ferrari now or a Lamborghini. It's not because it's a good money decision. It has nothing to do with it, because it'd be fun. It's not so I can look and
you keep freezing
people around me. I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. Oh, is the voice freezing as well?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think it's funny if you tell somebody, when I tell people things about, because I'm an external processor, right? Like, I like giving things to the board, right? So, like, some people, they process internally. They'll just kind of go through, their gears are turning and they're not saying anything. So you don't really know what's going on as they're trying to process something. But when I process something, I process it all on the outside.
Okay.
So you're on my board. Jamari's on my board, right? You're all on my board. So I'm going to be telling you things as I'm going through it, right? And people would give feedback. And when I was younger, much more often, the feedback would make me kind of question my whole process, or what I was thinking initially that led to the process that I haven't even come to a conclusion with yet, right? So who knows where I'd land, but I'm sharing it. Some people give me their feedback in the middle, and I've learned to ignore their feedback mostly because they live in different realities than me. So when I was leaving Verizon, and I'm just like, I'm going to leave Verizon, right? I'm just talking because I talk to everybody. I just talk, and people are like, blah, 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 and they say all this stuff that didn't apply to me, right? Like it's the world they lived in. To them, it was fearful to leave a company like that, a job like that, and for me, it was fearful to stay. That's a 100% contradiction, right? Like they are
Why would you
scared to
say
leave, and
fearful to stay?
To live my life in that capacity until
Okay.
I'm old.
Gotcha.
Like that's what I did. That's what I did when I look back when I'm like 75. If I even get to be 75, I'm like, that's what I did. I'm gonna die soon, and that's what I fucking did the whole time. I went to that cubicle for 35 fucking years. That's terrifying, dude. So I'm leaving, and I'm like, I'm fucking out of here, And people are like, "Oh, are you afraid?" And other people are like, "You're crazy for leaving all this job security." And they love to use the words benefits and retirement and 401k and shit like that.
Bribes.
It's a different world that they live in, because to me, it has nothing to do with it, right? And so most people, 9 out of 10 people, are gonna use those words to describe their feelings when I say stuff. And like one person might be like, "Yeah, man, fucking go, get out of here. This place sucks." And I'm like, "Right, dude, right? You're the one person. Everybody else is saying the same stuff." But that's one of the things, And so when I was opening my own brokerage, realtors, they would say things. I'm like, I'm gonna open my own brokerage. And then people would say things based out of fear and kind of just how they're programmed, right? They just can't help it, right? But the reality to them of opening brokers was like, it wasn't real. So I had to learn and question and test. Like, think, have an idea, test it, right? Like, is everybody right, or am I right? Right? So like one of the things people would say is, "Oh, but the insurance." First thing they would say is, "I don't want to deal with agents." Right? And I'm like, "Dude, I don't have any agents. I don't want agents. I just want to have my own brokerage." Right? Like, I don't need to have it off. Like, they're imagining, yeah, have a broker.
Yeah.
Right? It's my own thing. I get to make my own logo and shit. I think it's fun. Right? Dude, it's like the Lamborghini, man. It's fun. That's it. Right? So when they would be like, "Oh, all the agents," and they're imagining in their imagination, to be a broker, you have to have an office with desks and a printer and training and agents, right? Like a whole bustling room full of people. And I'm like, dude, nobody even goes to offices, number one. And it's just going to be me and Jamari still waking up doing the same thing every day. It's just that instead of that guy being my broker, I want to be my broker. And then they're like, excuse me, sorry, I just got over the flu. And then they're like, what about all the insurance? And they'll say that like it's $50,000 a year for insurance. Right now, everybody says the same shit, man. When I was vegan for 8 years, everybody said the same stuff. It's amazing, right? So it's similar to open up a brokerage. They all say the same stuff. So the insurance, right? They act like it's $50,000 a year, and a policy from a broker's is like $800 a year, right? And me and Mary gave our old broker $400 each for a year for insurance, and I'm like, oh shit, that guy's getting all this money for all these agents for the insurance. It doesn't even cost that much. But we assumed it was maybe like, say you got 100 agents and you give them $400, we just multiply 100 times 400. Maybe that's how much the insurance costs. Maybe it costs like a quarter of that, and he just pocketing the rest of the money. So we pay $800 for 5 agents, and I don't charge them anything, right, for insurance, because I just take a little bit of their commissions, not a lot, right? Because we do have agents. Because once I got the brokerage, I was like, well, let's get some agents, man, because people wanted to come over who we know and shit. Yes, we got like 5, right? And so they don't pay, but like, we could be collecting $50 from each of them a year just to like supplement our costs. We could basically make them pay for the whole policy. But before I did it, I was going to open up the brokerage, and so I had to like, I would say something, everybody said something, and then I would prove it to be untrue, right? I'm like, that's not true, right? And then I think of something else, everybody would say something, and then I'd be like, I don't think that's true either. And it happens over and over again. And then I realized I live in a different reality than most of the people around me. And then I start to wonder what created theirs, right? It's a lot more confining than mine. And I just feel lucky. I don't even think I did it. I didn't do anything to like kind of be this way. I just got lucky, man. I don't know what it is. It's not like my parents taught me this. Because they thought I was nuts the whole time. everything they told me to do, I did the opposite because I'd be like, no, I don't think the consequences for my actions are as severe as you think. You know how many times people are like, they're asked when they act afraid of something, right? Like when I'm like, you should want to start a business. I'm like, do it. And they're like, oh, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what's the worst that could happen, right? You know how many times I've asked somebody what's the worst that could happen? Because they respond as if like certain death will occur and they never really have an answer. They can't put it into words, right? And then if
Right.
they really want to be right, like people often, they don't want to be wrong. You know, they got this urge to kind of like defend themselves and not, just I'm smart, right? They got this I'm smart, and they'll try to make up shit, right? Like, oh, well, what about this? And I can't think of an example, but I'm like, dude, that's not going to happen, right? But they're trying to find something to be afraid of because the only thing that exists is the fear. There is no like legitimate consequence.
Right.
I mean, sure, something could happen. I can fly on an airplane, it could crash.
Yeah.
I like my odds, right? I like my odds, So a lot of the things people are afraid of are just like fucking so super unlikely, man. And most of the time, it's just wrong how it works, But it's also, you got to be careful because if you just say to somebody that's not how it works, then they're going to be like, "What, are you smarter than me?" Then they're going to start like getting in defense mode, And then you're like, yes, you got to like be careful and stuff. But I would probably have a house. Where we started, I'd probably have a house in like 20 different countries, man. And maybe one I would just have a bike and no sports car. Like this one's getting a bike.
What kind of bike? Are we talking like a very fancy pedal
Oh,
down the street or like a Harley?
It would have to hit the culture of where I am, a bicycle. But it wouldn't be like a Specialized or a Huffy. It would be like whatever they have there.
Gotcha. So maybe a Vespa.
Yeah. I could get a bicycle and a Vespa because a Vespa. When I was in Central America driving scooters around, I was like, how does everybody in the United States not have one of these? Right? Like, it's just, you just get on it. It's easy. It's electric or gas, but I like the electric. You just go.
Right.
Driving around like a nerd. It feels fantastic.
Right.
And then I got home and I was like, I'm going to buy one. But I didn't. I got a Harley instead.
Yeah. Hey, if you get it's called a rough house. It's a 50cc scooter. It's the only legal two-stroke scooter in the United States because of EPA regulations. But its parent company is Ferrari, so you could two birds, one stone. Genuine scooter company. Yeah, that's what it is.
I'll tell everybody that, dude. I'd buy it and I'd be like, Ferrari made that shit.
Right? I used to say exactly that. I bought 3 of them.
Yeah.
But
it sounds fun, man.
Yeah, the first one I bought, I tried to get into tuning it, and I went on a 100-mile road trip from Massachusetts into Vermont, did some camping, and then blew the engine. So I brought it back, and they're they were like, it's gonna be like $1,200 to replace the engine. I was like, but it's $2,000 for a brand new one. I was like, all right, I'll take 2. I bought 2 more.
Yeah, you might as well, right? Because you're
Yeah.
already into the other one for a little bit.
Right? Traded it in. They could deal with it, but yeah.
You still have them?
No. I ended up giving one away, and the other one got stolen, and I used the insurance money to do a down payment on the Jeep. So no complaints.
Shit,
Yeah.
man. They give me insurance on those things. Got stolen from where?
Yeah. Well, it was from my backyard. Like, I'm so pissed off at myself because this was a while ago, but I literally had it. We're talking, it was parked under my window in the back of the house. And on the other side of that window, with the shade down, was my computer monitor where I sat and played World of Warcraft until 4 a.m. And then I went to sleep and I woke up and it was gone. And it's like,
God damn, man.
what, like, right under my nose. Right under my nose.
You think you just lived in a neighborhood where that wouldn't happen?
My parents' house.
Oh, yeah, that would happen there.
Right. What I thought was funny was when they recovered it, and I asked the police, like, is it okay? Like, all I care about is getting it back and that it's okay. And they're like, yeah, it's fine. I go to get it from the yard,
Oh, they found it?
Yeah, they found it, and it's like the ignition was busted open, the front panel was busted off, the gas cap was busted off, the seat was busted open because it all has locks on it, and they needed to bypass all of that to get it running. And inside is
Damn,
a cell
son.
phone
Could
for.
they roll it? Was it locked? Could they roll it?
What do you mean? Oh yeah, well that's
Could
probably
they
how they
roll
got
it
it.
away to do all that stuff?
Yeah, that's probably what happened. But
Alright.
but there was a cell phone in the scooter that had a girl's information in it that lived up the street from me. And it's like, great job, police. Did you find this phone? No. Do you want this phone? No. It's like, what do you mean you're not interested in doing your job? But
That's not. They don't give a shit about that.
I'm not too worried about it because it's over and done with. So I ended up calling the girl's mom, ratting her out. But you know,
Oh, so I thought they stole the phone. One of the thieves' phones was in it.
well, there was a phone in it, and it had
Oh, shit.
a girl's information. Was it stolen or not? I don't know, but I'm not gonna make shit up. I told her mom what I knew, which is that my scooter got stolen, and when it got recovered, her phone was in it. You know,
So the cops even had all that. Like, I didn't think when I said they're not going to. When I said they don't care, I meant they don't care enough to investigate it.
right,
It sounds like the answer was right in front of them. So you might as well, if the evidence is right here, you're gonna. Yeah, it's weird. Cops are weird.
Right.
I always imagine if I was a cop, because people like to talk about the cops, and I'm always like, what would I do if I was a cop? And then I'm looking at it and I'm like, first of all, I would never be a fucking cop. That job looks like it sucks. And secondly, if I was, I'd probably be trying to avoid working, just like I do now.
I
But that's
imagine
not built in.
I regularly imagine that if I was a cop, the 90% of my job would simply be pulling people over for not getting out of the left lane. That makes me so grumpy. Like you,
I have a. First of all, I don't allow anything to let me get grumpy anymore. Right? Because the reason why is I don't want to be grumpy. Maybe you like being grumpy. Maybe other people do too. I don't know. I don't like it. I like being chill, man. And so there's different things I've done to get away from that. And it's funny because I'm 47 now, and I probably got into this headspace when I was like 35 or 34 or 33. And so I've been practicing at it for over a decade, which means it's just, it's super habitual, right? Like just the way I approach things and do things. So in the beginning, it was a lot harder to like not get road rage, but now I never get road rage, man, because I addressed it and it just went away, man. And so for the left lane drivers, this is how I look at most humans, actually, and it's gonna sound super, I don't know. I'm not like a narcissist or like I'm not like I'm superior, but like if you identify patterns, right, it's only smart to use them to your benefit, right? So, my driving style is understanding that this is what the people are going to do. This is how the other people behave. So rather than getting mad at how they behave, because I've seen them behave that way for years, people drive in the passive lane, man, all the time, dude, for a variety of reasons, man. I've been able to research it a little bit, thankfully, the human behavior because of Facebook and shit like that, where you can read comments and you can see what's really going on in everybody's heads. And you're like, oh my goodness, man, this is what's around me, right? So you know that a lot of them are oblivious. They don't know it's a passing lane, right? And others think that they're going fast enough, right? You shouldn't speed, therefore I'm going fast enough. And others are like, well, I'm passing that guy way the fuck up there, so he's gonna have to wait until I only going 3 miles an hour faster than him, get past him, and then I'll go over. Right? So that's how they're all gonna be. They've been that way since I was young. They're that way now, right? I can't even say when I was young, I knew that, right? I would just be driving in the left lane like, I fucking was young and didn't give a shit and didn't even pay attention, right? So I got a bunch of younger me's out there, right? And so what I do, Jamari will tell you that I treat it like it's a video game, right? So if you're driving up to a cluster of cars, it's because people are driving in the left lane. The irony is sometimes you can drive all the way to the right lane and just cruise by everybody, right? Because they're all in the left lane, in the middle lane, and the right lane's wide open.
Right.
So you're just driving. I ain't passing on the right. To me, I'm just driving in the right lane, going, 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, nothing crazy, and I'm just driving, right? So sometimes that happens. Other times the cluster is filling up the whole road, right? all 3 lanes. And it's because of the people in the left lane. So you got to go up in the middle, right? In the middle, because from the middle, you can see if you have an opportunity on the right or the left, right? And the goal is to find a good line to get through that cluster. Because once you get to the other side, there's no cars again because that's holding everybody up.
Right.
And then you cruise again for a period, right? And you're just going on your own. You're going 80, just freaking chilling, driving down the street. And then all of a sudden, you identify another cluster, right? Up there, the right lane's closed. Every lane's closed. You get into the middle, right? And as you get closer, you start to find your line, right? And then sometimes you get blocked in, man. You can't get through, and somebody else behind you is trying to do the same thing, and they get through and you don't. And you get jammed in, and you're like, son of a bitch, I'm trapped. And then the other guy's gone, and you're like, oh, fuck, he got through, right? And then sometimes you got to just be patient and wait it out because you didn't make good enough moves to get through, so it's your own fault, right? And then you get through that cluster eventually. Then you start driving, and next you get to another one, and it's the same thing. People on the left keeping people from going by, and then you got to find your line, man.
What's tough about my normal trip is it's mostly 1-lane highway with compared to Massachusetts, a lot of passing zones. But there's a few zones where it'll switch to 2 lanes just for passing. But everybody gets either stays in the left lane or gets in the right lane and speeds up. And it's like, I'm trying to pass you. You should, if you are only comfortable doing 55 in a 55, when it turns to 2 lanes so people can pass you, you are, in my opinion, obligated to stay at 55. If you, once you hit that passing zone, speed up to 65, then you're an asshole. Even if it's accidental. Yeah. But it's like,
no, but they're going to, that they do that. But there's also getting tunnel vision, right? Like, I know they're going to do that. But my cousin the other day, Dan, I was in Georgia, and there was 2 lanes merging. And when 2 lanes merge, you're supposed to just fill up both lanes and alternate at the end.
Right.
Like, that's why it's supposed to work. But everybody gets over to nice. The sun went away for a minute. Everybody gets to the operational lane early, so they create a line of cars, and the other lane just ends up empty, right? So I've been in so many situations, and I can't imagine I'm the only one in the world who does this, right? Where you're driving and you're not familiar with the road work or the area, right? You don't know, and next thing you know, you're in that empty lane, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't know I had to get behind them guys because I didn't know this lane was closing up here because I couldn't see it, right? And so then you got to get over, right? And so most people will let you in. I think that happens more often than people being like, I'm going to go to the front. I think that happens more often than that. Is it 60-40? Maybe, but if I had to guess which one happens more often, it's more often the accidental oops, right? Because I've done it a million times. And I'm driving with my cousin, and the car came by us on the right lane, and the left lane was the one that was open. And he pulled up so we couldn't get in front of him. And he said, look at this son of a bitch. He's in such a hurry, man. He can't just wait. He's got to come up here and try to get in front of us. And I'm interested by this, right? Because I know that there's a lot of people like him. There are the people who pull up, and then there's other people like me who don't pull up, right? And he's a pull-upper, right? You're not getting in front of me, guy, right?
Right.
And I can tell you that the feeling of I don't want you in front of me, I'm going to pull up, and being in that place where that's what I'm doing, that's what I'm competing for in that moment, that's not a place I want to live in here, right? So I purposely don't do that, right? And if I did do that, I'd be like, scold myself, dude, that's not where you live, bro. Put the freaking radio on, man, and chill, man, right? Let the guy in, bro. He may have just made a mistake, which people do. I'm not perfect. But my cousin, I just look at him, I'm like, had it occurred to you that maybe he just didn't realize that he had to get behind all these cars and he was just driving, right? Maybe he was looking at his phone, but who doesn't do that, right? Or maybe he just didn't know. Had that ever occurred to you, or is it 100% in your mind that it was a malicious kind of, I'm going to get ahead of these guys? Because in your imagination, this guy's like, I'm going to fucking get in front of him. I'm going to get in front of him.
Right.
And I'm like, you don't know that that's the case, man. And I think there's a good chance that it's not the case, and he didn't have an answer.
Right.
It just went away.
It makes me wonder.
He didn't seem enlightened. He wasn't like, well, that's an interesting perspective. He was just like, oh yeah, he just ignored it. And I'm like, fascinating. Doesn't even address it.
You know how a lot of times they say like, oh, don't run from a cat or a grizzly bear or whatever it is, because it'll trigger their predator instincts. And it's like,
Yeah.
a lot of times, wow, sorry, there's a giant clump of something floating down the river. But I sometimes wonder when I'm driving and it's like, oh, I'm going to get, I'm going to make my way to the front of this pack of cars. If there's a little bit of that in there where it's like just that competitive like instinct to be the first, which I guess you could say comes from all the way from when we were just an egg and a sperm, where that sperm's like, I gotta be the first one there. You know what I mean?
But everybody's not like that.
That's
If
true.
you look over the right lane, you got Herb just driving there at 10 and 2, not even paying attention to anything around him.
Right.
And you got me. Me, it could be because I don't always go through the pack. If I had a lot of coffee and I'm feeling like racing, that's what I'll do. If I'm like, if I got ESPN on my phone in the cradle and I'm like watching Sports Center, I'll probably just chill out a little bit and just jump into the pack with everybody else. To me, it's all mood based.
All right, I need to verify something.
Yeah.
If you say your phone watching Sports Center, are
Yeah.
you one of those people who literally watches TV while driving?
I would say I listen to it, man. I don't really watch it.
Okay.
It's really hard to.
I have a friend named Maya who I believe watches it, like legitimately watches it. But
Well, I could tell you if something is if something's on that's going to, if it's the fourth quarter with like 2 minutes left and they're going to score a touchdown, I better pull over, man, because I don't think I can just listen to that, right? But I try to not do that. But
the closest I got to that was I would put Amazon on because it shows lyrics like karaoke, but that's not quite as visually demanding.
I do Big Bang Theory in the car because I've already seen it 5 times.
Right.
So I don't even have to watch it because I already see it. I can see it all just listening to it.
Right. Yeah.
And it's fun. We'd be driving laughing. And then, that's where I want to live, man. I want to laugh. I want to be happy. Chill.
I've said for a long time, if you're not laughing, you're not doing it right. But
then you wonder, like, I would say, why do people put themselves in situations, or who puts them in situations where they don't get to laugh as much as us, right? Because they're wired that way, man. I see people around me struggle all the time about nonsense. Their priorities are all fucked up, dude.
yeah, well, unfortunately, I don't believe in free will, so. But I already had that conversation on this podcast last episode. Was it last episode? Yeah, with Pops. But so let's get back to this 20 countries
I'm
thing.
a marketer.
You're a parketer?
A marketer.
A marketer. What's that mean?
I don't believe in either.
Okay. Do you wanna elaborate on it?
No, I'm just saying, like, when you said that, I agree, man. I think that the illusion of freedom is funny. Free will. I say to Jamari a lot of times when I'm trying to help her understand how I see something. I'm like, imagine we were in caves, right? You think that's like, you don't think that we may do it differently, or you think that our reactions are handed down to us, but she doesn't give a shit. She's like, you're so weird. Shut up. And then, she doesn't like living caves thing.
Wow.
Because I try to strip as much away as possible when I'm trying to, understand something.
My newest stupid money waste idea is it would be awesome to. So this is inspired by Duncan Trussell, you could say, although it's the opposite of Duncan Trussell, because yeah, he's a comedian and he's got a podcast I listen to, and he's been doing this thing called Operation Beast Blast, which it's obviously facetious, but he keeps trying to say that if he could get more followers than Mr. Beast, he would have enough money to buy the pyramids, take the capstone off, fill it with Diet Coke, and dump it full of all of the Mentos in the world so that he could blow up the pyramids, because the world does not need pyramids. That's his idea. And that gave me the idea of, like, when was the last time we built a 10,000 year structure? It would be awesome to just, like, in the middle of I don't know, Utah or Colorado or something. Just buy the acreage necessary to build a new pyramid. Call it the Great American Pyramid and build it strong enough to where it's going to be here way longer than we are. But then the little trickster in me pipes up and goes, it would be awesome to put a statue of like Joe Rogan and Duncan Trussell shaking hands with an alien, and then in 4 different languages inscribe a story about how in the year 2019 they saved the visiting alien race from catastrophe by solving some chemical equation for them or some shit like that, and then just be like, yeah, whatever, history is now never going to be the same because I took the money necessary to transcend time with a completely false narrative.
I mean, that wouldn't be the first time that's happened, right?
Well, according to what I heard, the only real evidence we have of an Egyptian specifically building the pyramid is one guy claimed it once, and it's he was definitely not trying to get laid when he made that claim.
That's funny.
Coffee time?
Yeah, I'm gonna make some coffee, dude.
How do you make your coffee?
Today, it depends on my mood, man. So right now, I'm gonna make it 1 cup in here.
What is that?
It's an Italian coffee maker, but there's another word for it.
Is it a percolator?
It could probably. That's one of the words, probably. Does it percolate? I don't know. Oh, I know. 120. I got 1 more cup in me today, and I got to get it in here quickly before it's too late.
I just pretend that caffeine isn't a thing, and I drink it whenever I want. Seems to work.
I do decaf after this, but I still drink coffee.
Oh, I heard that the process of decaffeinating coffee was not good. So I decided to just, not research that and go with it.
In what way? Like you use slaves to do it?
Like the chemical required to remove the caffeine is worse than the caffeine would be alone. But like I said, I never researched it, so I could be completely wrong.
I just want to go to sleep at night.
Oh, that's interesting. So the coffee goes below?
The water's down the filter basket here with the coffee inside of it, and it will boil up through the coffee up to the top and out that hole.
Okay, so it's kind of like a reverse percolator. Because
I've never used a percolator.
So the way a percolator works is the boiling water goes up above the coffee and then filters down through the coffee back down to where it boils.
Oh, yeah, sounds similar to that.
Yeah.
Direction.
Oh no, gravity strikes.
I can dig it, man. So you like coffee then? You drink a lot of it?
Yeah, we have coffee every morning, at the least. Sometimes I probably do drink too much coffee, but...
Do you know I was going to open a coffee shop when I moved here?
Yeah.
And then I decided not to because I was going to buy a house before... before I left my job, I wanted to buy a house because you can't really buy a house without a job, right?
Right.
So I was with my realtor looking for houses, and we were going into coffee shops a lot. And I was like, because I only wanted to open a coffee shop so I could hang out in one all day. I didn't care about making money. That's just what I wanted to do every day, was just shoot your shit in a coffee shop with people. And what I also wanted to do was create the vibe, man. Create the feeling I wanted to be chilling in all day too, with the decor and the people and where I put it and all that stuff. Excuse me. But when I was looking for houses, we'd go to coffee shops, and I was like, tell me more about what you do, right? And she was telling me, and I'm thinking like, man, I can hang out in coffee shops every day, and I don't need to have all that stuff and responsibility. And so that's why I shifted into real estate from a coffee shop, so I can hang out in coffee shops without actually having a coffee shop.
Right.
You know, coffee shop rent and having to make sure it was open on time and hiring employees and all that stuff, buying furniture, tools, right? And
Right.
I'm like, nah. So yeah, that's how I ended up over here. But man, I love being in coffee shops, dude.
Wasn't there a time where you wanted to have a vegan pizza shop?
Yeah, vegan cafe.
Cafe? Is that
Yeah, it wasn't a
same
pizza
idea?
shop. It was the same idea, but I just thought it'd be harder. Right? I don't want it to be hard. I want it
Right.
to be, I don't want stuff to be hard. I like stuff to be easy. And so that was kind of like, I'm going to have to go against. But when I went traveling, I started meeting it anyway. But I had already got my real estate license. But so I had gone back. It would have been ironic if I opened up a vegan anything. And then years later, I decided to go to eat meat again.
Right. So you're in the Tampa area?
Yeah.
Do they have like Dunkin' Donuts and regular coffee places there, or is it all just like fancy coffee?
No. I go to Dunkin' Donuts all the time because I got the $5 meal.
Out here, it's like you have Starbucks, which is terrible in my opinion, and then the only other options you have for coffee are these little like drive-through fancy like latte shops, and they're everywhere. And then you
Drive-through?
Yeah, it's like you don't have somewhere to go sit down. You just
like
drive up,
drive-through
they
ones.
make you a $10 coffee, and then you drive away.
To me, the drive-through ones are like gas stations.
Yeah,
Like you're just going there to fuel up.
right. Right.
Right. Like when people see me drinking as much coffee as I do from restaurants, they'd say, "Oh, you must spend a ton of money." And I'm like, and I realize that maybe they look at it like that. They just go get a cup of coffee.
Right.
To me, I'm like, dude, for $6, I can sit over there for an hour, right? And whatever, man, just not because, I've not been like a domesticated dude, so I've lived with myself most of the time. So coffee shops, whatever. So yeah, I would look at it like I was paying $5 for an hour's worth of rent and a coffee.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe 2 hours.
Ari Shafir's podcast, You Be Trippin', is about traveling, and he just had a guy on who said that it's more fulfilling and easier to enjoy one thing for an hour than it is 5 things for 20 minutes. And I feel like that is true. It's better to thoroughly enjoy one thing than it is to try to put everything in one day. But,
Yeah, it's good practice too for your ADD ass.
so, what countries?
Don't matter. I don't know. That's the thing, man. Like, I don't know. That's the beauty of it, dude. Is the way I work. I would just go figure it out. Just say the reason why I don't plan my trips when I go on vacations, and usually depending on America, she has to plan a little bit. I got to accommodate her needs too. But I don't know what I'm going to do a lot. I don't know exactly what I want to do until I get there. It's like I have the money to go travel a lot more, so I'd probably go visit a bunch of places. That would be the catalyst probably, or the initial step. And then once I decide to get a place, what it is to be there, like lots of rules, very, very specific. This, right? It's not like my dream. I would just pick in all these countries. I have to figure out what the rules are for foreigners buying houses and stuff like that. So I have to go get a good vibe, figure out how easy it is for an American to buy a house there, and then because I got so much money, you keep getting the money,
Well,
so I could just buy a
always
place and then never go to it ever.
rent it.
Yeah, I'm not renting. I'm not going to go through the trouble of renting a place if I'm getting $10,000 a day, man.
Well,
Shit, I don't make near $10,000 a day now, and I ain't renting no places.
I'm just saying there's always ways, like I might not be corporate America, but sometimes my brain works like it. Like if if there's a country that has a rule that says you can't buy a house, find a local, make him buy the house, and then say, you just keep it clean. I'll show up whenever I want to show up. It's kind of renting, but also kind of owning. You know what I mean? Like,
but
there's a way.
But then you could go there and he could be like, no, you're not coming back anymore. This is my house.
Well,
That's a lot of trust, bro. That's a lot of trust. Because you don't think I've already thought of that, dude? I've thought of that. Because Mary, her family's from Puerto Rico. She could go buy a house. They could buy a house in Puerto Rico and it could be ours. And I'm like, yeah, that's an awful lot of trust. Because it's hard to buy a house in Puerto Rico.
is it?
Yeah.
It's
I like things to be.
it's probably bad to say this, but the only thing I really know about Puerto Rico is Tony Hinchcliffe's joke. Controversy. Do you know what I'm
It's
referring
just an
to?
island, right?
Yeah.
No.
It's an island that a lot of people go to on vacation and they throw their shit out and then it stays on the island. But he got in some trouble because he tried to make a joke at a Trump event that I think it went something like there's an island of garbage in the ocean. It's called Puerto Rico. What he was trying to say is that Puerto Rico has a landfill problem because it's full of garbage brought there by tourists. But, you know, that's not how people took it.
Yeah, people be people. And I'm sure people like to get offended, but I don't give a shit what that dude says. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't.
If I were Puerto Rican,
Oh, you're breaking up.
you know what they talk about? Like, just people like this. Like, there's people who don't give a shit. So he says this, and then all the people who like what are the activists who are I don't know who they are. They're the police, the comedy police, the talk police. They're gonna say all their stuff, and there's plenty of people who are from the same culture who like just don't even give a shit what that guy fucking says.
Yeah.
You hear the ones who are causing who are in an uproar over it, right? But it could be like 20 people could make so much noise,
Right.
right?
And
in
it's
the meantime, there's
one of
tons other
those
people who are like, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like the image versus the reality. And it's like the image that's portrayed is that a lot of people are angry in the world and there's a lot of bad things. The reality is that most people are good people. But sometimes it's hard to trust the reality of it. Because of the image.
Yeah, it's easy. I can ignore. I don't see that stuff or hear that. Like, I've already detached myself from it. So like, just like the person in the right lane may have accidentally ended up over there and just needs a little help getting in, that guy could have just written a bad joke.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I'm saying? He could just be a bad joke. He could be he could not be a racist. He could just think he's funny. He's used to towing the line. He's a comedian. That's what they do. He could have just wrote a joke. And he may even said it out loud. And the first thing he thought was like, that didn't work the way I thought it was.
Yeah.
And then, because it could have happened that way. And if that's the case, then all your jokes are going to be good. So you've messed up, but because of those 20 people, they're going to amplify it and they're going to keep it amplified. And I feel bad for people sometimes, because maybe sometimes they're assholes. Maybe sometimes they're fucking not. I never know. How the hell do I know?
I just wish that more people could genuinely say, hey, that viewpoint has changed. I no longer aspire to that theory. But I feel like the modern, I'll say news, but I mean, electronic connection has caused people to have to double down instead of, changing their opinion.
People love to double down, dude.
Yeah. And it's like,
I love to double down.
Me personally, like there's, like you see in the movies all the time, they'll for some reason go back to this one scene when I think of this, but it's like two people in a car and something has happened. And one of them's like, hey, you remember that conversation we had before, this happened? And it's like, he's just the one person's just trying to get the other person to say you were right. And it's like,
Yeah.
and it's supposed to be like this moment of victory, like, haha, I was right, you were wrong. Personally, I don't like that. I feel way better when I get to go, oh, I was wrong. And it's like, I think it's because
How you
now
learn?
I know what's right. Like, if I said 2
You
plus 2
grew.
is 5, I would not want you to agree. I would want you to say, hey, it's 4. Let me show you how. So that then, and it's like, I want to be right all the time, but I know that I can't be. So when I'm wrong, please correct me so that then I can be right. Moving
Dude, I got
forward.
to this point, bro. I got to this point, bro, where like, as a
I don't,
age, where like sometimes if I'm wrong, just because I'm always trying to teach people, man, because people don't understand shit. So I feel like I got to teach them shit. I help them all the time, and they like to argue and double down and shit, right? But it's frustrating sometimes when it's somebody who I care about and I just want to like, oh no, this. I end up in this place, and then they act like I think I'm always right. So now I got to a point where if like when I'm wrong and I'm learning something, I'm like, I guess I was wrong. I guess I'll learn it. And now I know. Now I've learned. Thank you for teaching me, because I was so wrong. I was so wrong in that. Right? Because I get so frustrated that nobody else does that, dude.
right.
Right? Nobody does that shit, man.
Do you, I'm not going to ask you to necessarily voice an opinion, but I'm just going to ask, do you have an opinion about the whole border thing?
Oh, let me think. Let me think of how I feel about that. Um, a couple thoughts, right? With the way that I see it personally, and other people can see it somewhere else, other ways, I don't care. Because they're just one of those, and I'm one of these. Then we got that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and I'm just mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here to tell other people what they should think or feel or whatever, this and that. All I know is that if I go anywhere in the world and overstay my visa, they're going to kick my ass the fuck out. That's all I know, right? My expectation, if I go somewhere and overstay my visa, is if they catch me, to get the fuck. And if they caught me, what would I think? They got me.
Right.
I got to pay my fines and get the fuck out, right?
Right.
And that's how it is in every single country in the world. Every country, right? So, that is my main thought. Secondarily, I know that an objection to that would be human welfare, right? And I don't understand, or do I care to understand or learn about it? Or probably you have to go to college for years, I think, to understand asylum and shit. It's not simple; it's complicated. So when all of the lay people who really probably can't even fucking get A's in school their whole lives are out there shouting about asylum, I'm just like, I don't know nothing about it, bro. All I know is that if I go to a country and overstay my fucking visa, they're going to kick me out. And that is my stance. But also, I don't hear any of it, dude. Like, none. I don't give a shit.
Well, to get abstract-ish, I and this comes back to the whole I was wrong topic, but when the whole border wall thing first became a mainstream topic, I was on the side of logic. And when I say logic, I don't mean like other people are illogical. I mean computer logic. Like the law states, therefore, is, and the law states if you cross the border illegally, you've broken the law, therefore you are a criminal. Logically speaking, on a syntactical manner, that's accurate. And that's where my brain started. And then on Facebook, of all places, after quite a long discussion where I was defending the, you shouldn't break the law side of it, somebody commented, is that what you want America to stand for? And it was that one Facebook comment that made my brain go, oh, right. That's just because that's how it works doesn't mean that's how it's meant to work. And that was probably the biggest current controversial example of me going, oh no, I was wrong. Like,
well, I wouldn't say you were wrong. I would say that you opened up your perspective to include more places or things, right? Like,
Yeah.
like you just widened your kind of look at it. You weren't so tunnel vision about it. You're like, oh yeah, there's other things that are factors here. And it goes back to what I was saying. Everything is so much more complex
Right.
than what people talk about is, right? It's so much more complex.
Like, you remember grade
That
school?
I can't talk about. I'd have to go to school for 4 years, right? Get a master's in something. I'd have to go study sociology, psychology, government, politics, and then I'll be like, all right, Kyle, let's talk about the fucking wall.
Right.
But my feelings on it are not coming from like understanding it, right? And like another thing, this is why I live in a different reality, because to me it was just a sales pitch. It was just a sales pitch. That's all it was. Whether or not there was a wall, I thought was totally not even a thing in my world. I'm like, that dude's fucking selling.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to sell that wall. He's going to get elected. And he was just selling. I don't think he gives a shit about the wall.
Right.
I think he gives a shit about immigration. I think he was just trying to use it to get people in, the same way when I was the 8th grade president. I told kids I was going to try to get his days off, which wasn't going to happen. But I told him that shit. I got elected, right? That's all it was to me. I don't think that guy, if he lost the election, he wasn't going to go home and still fight for a wall. He would just go to the golf course and try to figure out how to get elected next time, because he ain't going to give up. He'd be like, what can I do next time to win? Because it's a strategy. It's a game, right? So to me, that was just a piece. It was just a chess move in a game. So, and then everybody started arguing back and forth. I was like, holy fuck, man, this is crazy. This guy just said that, and it's going to work. I didn't think it was going to work at first. I didn't think it was going to work at all until it worked. And I was like, fuck, it worked. Right. And he got enough people. He said all the right things to enough of the people to get elected. And to me, again, I'm a marketer, dude. Like I need business. And I got to go find it. I got to convince people that we're going to do the best job. And I believe we do the best job. That's not the same as convincing them we do the best job and getting them to use my services so that I can pay my mortgage. Right. So that's, if we were going to get me elected into anything, what would we be talking about? Right? If you want to win, you better be talking about, what do we have to say to win? What do we have to do to win? And then somebody could say, well, this cause over here is a good one. And we'd have to look at it and go, that's not going to get us to fucking win. Right? What's going to get us to win? And that's what it is. So when he's trying to figure out what to do to win, and people are taking the items on the table and arguing and discussing them and whatever, I'm like, Jesus, this guy's fucking brilliant. Dude, I one time said to a couple of guys I was showing houses to, it was a gay couple from Massachusetts, from the gay part of Massachusetts. What is it? Promise? Sound like that, right? So
all of it.
Their money, bro. Yeah, so their money they got. They have a $2 million budget, right? And I'm in the car, and they hate Trump, right? And I'm like, so I got to hate Trump too, not hate him, but like, I can't say I like him,
Right.
And I ain't saying I do right now, right? Because I really don't give a shit, but I got to, what's going to work? Because I want the business, man, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like Michael Jordan once said, man, Republicans buy shoes too. So I said to him, I'm like, one thing about Trump that's fascinating is it feels like everything he says, people just believe. And it's not just him. I'm learning that's the world. You just got to say it and it's true. And he goes, and he's not really paying attention to me. He's just like, yeah. And I was like, did you guys know that I'm a top agent in all of Tampa Bay? And they're like, really? And I was like, son of a bitch. I just told them. And then I did it because I ain't a top agent in Tampa Bay. As soon as I said it, they were like, really? And I was like, fuck, it's so crazy how easy that works, man. You say anything to anybody and they believe that shit.
Makes me wonder, like, you ever go into a restaurant, it's like, voted #1 pasta. And it's like, voted by who? It's like, your employees? Does that count? But,
man,
yeah. You don't have to check facts.
Yeah. Like, think about it, though. That would work. That works. I say some things, and Jim Harry's like, that's not true. I'm like, it's not true that we're the best agents in Tampa. I think we are. Like, Tampa's best agents. She's like, we aren't the best. I'm like, what do you mean, dude? I'm the nicest to everybody. I think the best agent's going to be the nicest. And I'm the fucking nicest, which makes me the best.
Right. Yeah. But like, you don't have to necessarily use their goalposts.
I didn't say I sold more volume than everybody else.
Right,
That wouldn't be true,
exactly. Change the,
right?
change the
Yeah.
goalposts. I am the best at getting coffee for my clients, like still the best at
Yeah.
something.
So that's what I said earlier. I'm a marketer. That's because I know how to do things that work, and it's just funny, man. Like I've been doing it for so long now that like it's become like it's very obvious to me. Like the way that I interact with the world. Like in the beginning, I was like learning, like those guys in the car. I said it, and I was like, "Huh, look at that." But now imagine like 7 years later of building off of that and marketing and trying to be persuasive in business. Like now it's 7 years later. It's like it's just natural,
Right.
and it's easy. So, dude, I swear to God, I could be making $1 million a year if I wanted to, man. I could. I wouldn't be sitting here in my t-shirt talking to you on the phone in the middle of the afternoon on a Wednesday, right? But I could. But instead, I go the opposite direction, just like in school. And I realized I've been practicing this my whole life. I've been practicing for this moment my whole life. And I started at school where how can I get the best grade with the least amount of work? Don't got to, right? I can't get an A by not doing shit. But I bet you if I do these little things, I get a B, right?
Right.
Like the biggest project that would take 20 hours to do it in an hour and get a B. And like, why don't you get an A? I'm like, that would have taken fucking 20 hours. And this took 2.
Right. I was
Right.
I was the same way. I was like, okay, hold on. You're telling me that as long as I get this much on all of the tests, I don't have to do any other work. Sign me up.
So it's like that with business, right? What do I got to do to get, let's just say the numbers, 200K for me and Jamara, between the two of us to make 200, right? Bro, that shit's easy, man. To get enough business
Right.
to create that is easy. Now, can I go get 500? I start to imagine it, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I'd have to be super consistent at all these things, right? And there's a diminishing return.
Right.
Like you do sales, do a whole bunch of stuff for this much, right? So to make that get bigger, I got to do a whole bunch of stuff that's proportional, right? Unless I suppose there's an answer somewhere that agents find or brokers find, or salespeople find where they find the perfect system that's going to feed them and they can just keep, doing it easily. But one of the things we run into is like, it's a faith-based thing where like, I'm going to do all this stuff and then hope I get paid over here. Right. So you got to have a lot of faith to do more and more stuff, hoping that it's going to result in more and more money.
Right.
That's not a game that I've liked to play yet. I'm tossing it around. I keep trying to convince myself, you want more, right? If you just did a little bit more work, you could go buy a house on the water with a boat. I just go out back and get in the boat, and that might work. Not having money. I don't want money, right? But that sounds like it'd be an awesome place to wake up and go have coffee with a canal that goes out to the Gulf right here. And I can hop on my little 24-foot boat with a lift and put it down and then take it out into the water. That wouldn't take that much, right? So that's kind of getting me motivated a little bit to maybe go out and work a little bit more, right? And try to get more business and just get more money. But like the idea of just having money in my bank account, it just doesn't exist. I know a guy with 300 grand in his bank account. And I'm like, bro, I would spend that shit so fast, man. I would have one of those new condos at 400 Central, right? Like I'd be living down or wherever, right? Like
Right.
I would do something to do with it, because I like, did you ever read the book, The Comfort Crisis?
No.
He talks about how differently we would live if we were walking toward the cliff that we were going to fall off of and die.
Right.
You wouldn't walk
Right.
you wouldn't walk. You know what I'm saying? And like, so I feel like I see that clip every day. And that's what motivates me to basically live exactly the way that I do, right? I don't want to get mad at anybody. I don't want to give a shit about politics and Trump or none of that shit, right? Because the wall shit, right? That happened. Humans have been doing that for centuries, since the beginning of time. It's human nature, right? To have all this hate and fighting. It's going to be that way forever. So like, I don't want to look at it. Jamira, where were you?
I had to go to my house.
How'd it go?
Good. The surveyor went there without telling her, and she was freaking out.
One client like a block away.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Is that good or bad?
Oh, it's awesome. I had to drive an hour yesterday for listing photos.
Oh geez, yeah. Well, the question is, does the client know you're, right up the street?
Oh yeah, if she didn't, she wouldn't bother us all the time telling us to come over to do stuff that other people do over the phone.
Right. That's what I mean. It's like, there's benefits and there's drawbacks. Like
Yeah.
I work half an hour-ish away, and it's got its benefits of, if the weather's inclement, I have an excuse. But on all of the nice days, I still have to go, as opposed to when I used to work down the hill, where it was like I could literally, I was working a place where I would get in the Jeep and then I would just push the clutch in and then I'd get to work and I could just roll right into the parking spot. But,
That's fine.
yeah. But if,
I got a question. Go on.
sorry, you broke up there.
You just push the clutch and roll down the hill, and you're like, "I'm here."
Yeah. Yeah. But the problem with that is sometimes you don't have time to wake up. I couldn't keep that job though, because, not enough
Which
stimulation.
job was that?
What's that?
Which job was it?
That
The
was
U-Haul one.
No, that was being a clerk at the post office, local post office.
Oh.
Yeah, there's too much boredom. So,
Yeah. Boredom
yeah.
killed me. And my job had a whole bunch of things, and boredom was one of them.
Boredom was one of them.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man! Just sitting there all day in the same space, holy God, every day, like not just per day, per week, per month, per year, just like, oh my God.
I do a lot of math in my head because it's got to be doing something, and I always think about the length of a driveway. If you have to walk up a driveway 200 times a year, and that driveway is 40 feet, let me do the math here. I got a calculator here. All right. So 40 times 2, because you're walking back down it, times 200 divided by 5,280. If you walk up and down a 40-foot driveway 200 times a year, you're spending 3 miles in that driveway.
That's funny. I like that.
Right? So, my current job being
to say stuff like that out loud.
Well, it's like there's as a mail carrier now I have to walk up and down many driveways, and it's like, goddamn, like if I have 800 driveways, that's a lot of miles. That's a lot
When
of
you're
miles.
75, looking back, you're gonna be like, "Would you do this?" It's like probably gonna be like, one of the things is walking up and down a lot of fucking driveways.
Right? Yeah, I like to call myself a professional streetwalker.
Yeah, you are. But you know what's, dude? Walking
What's that?
is awesome, dude. That you walk
Yeah.
every day, man.
Yeah. I
drive a lot, man. It's good as walking.
I'm going to get blood work done. One of the things is HSCRP or something like that. It's supposed to measure inflammation. It's generally used for for normal people, if it's slightly elevated, then it could be a sign of arterial issues, that could lead to a heart attack. But because it measures your inflammation, it's also possible that walking a half marathon 5 times a week could raise that number simply from, the amount of walking I do. So it's like, do I want to time that blood work for a 3-day weekend where I'll recover, or do I want to time that so that it's at the end of a 5-day week, so the number's higher, so that maybe then we can get the insurance company to pay for more tests? It's like, data. I'm a data-driven person.
Why do you want more tests?
For more data.
Something wrong?
No, there's nothing wrong, but I want to keep it that way. But it's like, doing a micronutrients test to test and see if you have any deficiencies. Costs like $200. It's like, but if we could figure out how to make it medically necessary, then it'd be covered by insurance. So it's like, if you want to get,
I haven't had insurance in like 10 years.
well, it's probably better for you that way, but yeah, that system's definitely functional and efficient with a capital S on the sarcasm.
I already figured out, man. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do when I'm 49 or 50. I'm gonna go get all my old guy testing done in either Turkey or Mexico. It'll cost less, and they put packages together for it. So it's like a package. You go there, and so I'll be able to travel and have coffee in the street in Turkey or Mexico and whatever, and explore some culture in the country. I love exploring countries, man. Love it. And I'll be able to do that and get all my shit done, like my colonoscopy and shit, stuff like that. I guess people do, the stuff that I'm supposed to do. But here it costs $15. There I can get it all with a trip for $7.
Right. The hard part, though, is making sure that it's legit. There's been plenty of people who've, gone to have a surgery done and ended up with less than they got there with.
Yeah, that's true.
But
I think that's if you go to these other countries and they go to reputable hospitals, it's the same thing as here.
Right.
It's like going to a hospital here.
Yeah. What?
Or like an alleyway.
Do you have any countries on your list of where you want to go?
Well, the next place I'm going is. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go to New Orleans for Mardi Gras again. Because I can drive there with the dogs.
Right.
I'm going to go to Puerto Rico after that. Because that place is fucking awesome, man. Because they got mountains and beautiful beaches. It's like a festival. You got beaches here. You got mountains. They got both. And then after that, soon after that, the first half of this year, I'm going to book a trip to like Paris or something, just because I've never been to France and she's not as easy to go.
Right.
It's like a thing.
Right.
Like I said, I found a really cheap flight to Berlin. And I was like, we can go to Berlin. For this price, we can rent a car and we can drive to Prague. And her face was like, you would have thought that the highways in Germany have like snipers and bandits, like pirates or something. Like I imagined her imagining Mad Max. Right. And get that out of Americans a lot, man. A lot. It's like they talk about the world like it's something else that they saw on TV or the news said.
Right.
Then when you go there, bitch, what the fuck are they talking about, man?
Right.
And then when I'm traveling through Central America, and I met all these people from all over the world. Like when you're in those countries, staying at hostels, you meet people from the world, not those countries, right? Far fewer people. I've met way fewer Nicaraguans. I met more Dutch people in Nicaragua than I did Nicaraguan people, right? Even people who work at the hospital from other parts of the world, right? So, fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, so those people's perspective on Americans is awesome to learn, man. And I was there for 5 months. I went to 8 different countries, and I went to tons of different places. And it was the same thing. They all think that we're just delusional, man.
We are.
And they would say to me, not like other Americans. Oh, like 50 people said that to me, man, because I want to learn, right? And I'm not, man. And so they say that, and I actually wore it with pride a little bit, man. But like, it's like the world is this thing, and if you talk to us about it, it's something else, And then you start getting into, I start getting into comedians like Jim Jeffries talking about American people and from his perspective, and it's just so funny to me, man. Comedians are funny because they see behind the curtain,
right?
And then they say it, and it's hilarious because people be like, "Oh, that is true, right?" But then as soon as they go back to the world, right, it's like it didn't happen.
That's
Right? They go right.
one of the hardest things about having my mind is I'm always like, but you do understand that these dots line up like this in reality, but you're not acknowledging it. And then, because I'm not a professional comedian, I'm not good at communicating it. And then they're like, no, you're stupid. And that's offensive. And it's like, but all I'm doing is pointing out the truth from a different viewport, but it's still the same truth. But yeah, contradictions
For us.
and sarcasm. Yeah.
Funny. I joke that comedy, my work, my life, my reality is a comedy.
Yeah.
Right? So everything's funny, man. The way they behave and the fact that they, I think it's funny, man, all of it. Which also makes it easy to like drop something in the kitchen and have it break into 100 pieces. It's funny to me. I don't know.
Wow.
Like, I don't know why. I just like the other day, I dropped the coffee thing, all the coffee went everywhere, and I was just like, and I just laughed, man, like fucking fucked hard. I went and got the Bromex, cleaned that shit up, and then I went and got some Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
All right, let's see here. We're at an hour and 15, an hour and 12. I'm trying to think if there's anything fun to specifically touch up on. Do you listen to podcasts at all? Or YouTube?
I listened to Tom Ferry. He's a real estate coach, because it kind of helps get my head into a place, for pleasure, which I do find that pleasureful, honestly, man. Like, it helps me build my strategy. And I take pleasure in that, which is why I don't feel like I'm working usually, even when I am, because it's a game I play. But as far as for pleasure, back in the day, I did a few of the true crime ones. When they were talking about that doctor who would fake diagnose cancer.
Just so that he could make more money? Is that
yeah. That's just insane, bro. And like after I listened to it, I realized that like I know that is such an anomaly, right? Like people aren't going to do that, and then I'm like, but they are.
Yeah. Have you met anyone in the government?
Yeah, they are, dude. Right?
Yeah.
And so it really kind of changed everything, man. Everything.
So, do you want to shout out your brokerage?
It's Sun Cay Real Estate in Tampa Bay, Florida. We do Orlando. We do a lot of stuff in Orlando too. But our office is based out of Tampa. We have an office in downtown Tampa, and buy and sell investors. That's pretty much, we have a good little brokers, man. Good team.
Okay.
Hard to find. I'm not saying we're the best, right? Because that's like we're the best of everybody, right? But I tell you what, man, like 95% of realtors and salespeople are awful, right? So I can tell you that we're in the top 5% of best without question. Our numbers say, but that's not even. It doesn't even matter because you can have good numbers and still be an asshole,
Right?
Right? You can still be a liar, right? You can still not do your job properly. You cannot protect people properly and still have high numbers. But we do all those things and we do decent sales. But I think other things are more important, right? Some people will be like, how many? We have like 3 listings right now. You could have 30. Like think about the treatment we're giving the 3.
Right.
So people might look at that like it's like, oh, you're not that big. And I'm like, dude, we only have to worry about. We're only trying to sell 3 of them.
Right.
That means that what am I going to do for each one so I can? Because it's a competition, man. We're trying to get ours to sell before the other ones, man. And it's a game, and there's an art to it too. People don't believe it, but there's a fucking art to that. Getting yours to sell, and we're really good at it. And we only got 3 to worry about. Somebody else might have 30. And one time I said to a guy, and I thought this because I was doing an open house for another agent who does tons of deals, right? And he's like, yeah, man, I'm not really happy with the way Kelly's been doing this. And I'm like, don't worry about it, man. She sells tons of houses. She has tons of business, man. she knows what she's doing. And he goes, yeah, I can tell she has tons of business. Just pay attention to mine. And it clicked, and I was like, all right, that's not good.
Right.
My people feel that way. My people never feel that way,
Yeah. And that's
Teaser.
important. Yeah. So I'm going to send you a link to Ari Shafir's You Be Trippin'. It's on YouTube. Is that what you'd prefer, YouTube, or would you rather like a podcast link?
I do usually if he's on there, man. Like I know they oftentimes do both. And so like I put it on the car, same thing up in the cradle, but I don't watch it. I just listen to it.
Right.
Just like a podcast. For some reason it gives me a little more I don't know, like excitement in the car if it's playing, kind of like if I'm in my office, I can have a TV over here playing a podcast or ESPN, and it just feels different in the office when that's just kind of playing at a low volume. It's like lapping up the space for me or something.
Right.
So that's the same thing in the car, man. Like, that's why I like to have stuff on in the car. Because I drive like 30. I think last year I drove like 26,000 miles, bro.
That's a lot. That's like, hold on, 26,000. If it was 36,000, that would be 360 a day. So, yeah, that's a lot.
I did the other day 246.
Jeez.
Yes, I probably did like 150.
What do you drive?
I have an Audi A5 S line.
Okay, so at least it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what, when I'm out there on the highway trying to get through the clusters of cars, man. I got a turbo. It's fun, man. And I'm driving Jeep. It's not quite the same, dude. Right, you, Mary?
What?
How do you say that I drive?
What do you mean?
When I'm driving in a car on a highway, what do you call it?
Crazy?
She just goes crazy. You said I drive like I'm in a video game.
Oh, yeah.
She just goes crazy.
All right.
But I
Well,
explained,
what's that? You cut out.
I explained strategy. She knows what I'm doing. She knows the game I'm playing.
Right.
Look at this.
Nice.
Woo!
For all of the people who don't have video, he's got quite
there's
the
the
nice
ride.
bike. He's now showing me his bright white Audi and bright white JL. Let's see.
The Sahara
Cutting
Jeep.
out. Sahara?
Oh.
Is
Hey,
it
we
the
can
2-door
fire away
or
from
4-door?
The 4-door. We got to fit people.
Yeah, there was once a
I wanted
time
to-
where I would judge you harshly, but now it's like, yeah, I kind of get it. I like my 2-door though.
You wouldn't judge me because I wanted to get an inline 6 from like 2003, the one that I used to have like 15 years ago. And I would give her my car, and I was going to just take the Jeep with the half doors. I love having half doors, so I could just be like, "Foop, foop, there they go, soft top." And she wasn't having it. She's like, "No, we're going to get this. But this is really nice. It drives like it drives great."
Well, it's the newest JL, so you got all the techno gadgets and gizmos.
Yeah.
Hey, here's a question for you. If
Yeah.
if Eric and I plan a off-roading trip within driving distance, you willing to take that Jeep?
From here?
Yeah, like go off-roading with that Jeep.
No, I'm not saying I'll do all the things you do, but I'll go.
Well,
To marry Jeep, she's going to be the ultimate decider, and trust me, she doesn't take risks.
all right, Frankie. I think
We're done?
I think we're done. Thank you again. And
Yeah.
don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so that I can get enough followers so I can build us a pyramid.
Send me a link, man, because I hope to do a podcast one day, on a national podcast as a Tampa Bay broker, and
Right.
It won't be my first podcast.
Do you have the equipment?
No, I hope to be a guest on somebody else's.
Oh, gotcha. I was going to say, because
Well,
it's surprisingly simple. Once you know what to do, or you have somebody who's willing to tell you what to do, you can have a complete podcast setup for under $500. Easy.
Yeah.
So,
I want to thank you, because if I ever am a guest on a podcast, it will not be my first podcast. I've done it before now, at least once, so
Right.
I won't be going in completely inexperienced. I've got one under my belt.
Right. Well, just keep in
thank
mind
you.
though that mine is very laid back. So,
We have work.
but
That's why it's good practice.
right.
All right, you want to stay in touch and get together and chat soon, man?
Yeah, yeah. We still got to figure out how to get you up into the Northwest here.
I'll go up there. I'll put that on the list, man.
Yeah.
The show is over and no one is rich. Maybe next time I'll hit real big. I wish you good day. I'll see you next time. Oh!